Biden's State of the Union, something Pinocchio would be proud of. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, the 10th of March. And as the year is flying by and the markets continue to charge ahead, we were fortunate enough or unfortunate enough to listen to that bullshit State of the Union on Thursday night. A bunch of yelling and screaming and a bunch of lying. But that is very typical of somebody who is wrong and out of place to scream instead, trying to take your eye off the ball. But of course, there are some certain facts and numbers that are indisputable. And during the Trump years, working people got 9% pay increase adjusted for inflation. That is, we have a 5% decrease with President Biden. Okay. And of course, President Biden is more focused on leaving the borders open. Okay. And not worrying about the American people. So you have to ask yourself, is this the kind of person that you want running this country? Okay. I mean, again, you can say all the things you want, but when your own party can't say anything good about you and is more worried about being on the attack to Donald Trump, that should say something as well. You know, normally we were taught if you didn't have anything good to say about somebody, don't say it. Okay. We're to talk about how good the things that you do. And of course, we don't have too much good. I mean, we have the worst president in the history of the United States of America. Of course, we are now no longer, I don't know if we're the United States, I think we're the United Swamp, as we lose freedom and as they continue to steal our money, our freedom, and our ability to earn. But again, if you're happy, hey, what can I tell you? You know, listen, it's okay with me. I mean, I'm not going to worry about it. It's not going to affect me over the long haul, but it's certainly going to affect a lot of working people that are starting to try to build their lives. And you can continue to watch the destruction from the border, where you allow illegals in that you're paying for, I'm paying for, and I'm sick of it. Okay. And not worried about taking care of the country. I mean, of course, we've got Biden worried about the billionaires that he says are only paying 8.2% tax, but the average tax in general is about 20%. But if we want to talk about taxes, fix the tax code. Okay. Quit complaining about what billionaires aren't paying and fix the tax code so that they don't have the loopholes to take out. Okay. I mean, that would be the simplest thing, but let's hire 87,000 more IRS agents and not fix the tax code. Let's continue to keep this the most complex thing in history. Okay. When you could simply fix it and make it where you couldn't get away with things. But again, that would be too easy and too smart. Okay. But I mean, I think if you look at the CBO baseline, the federal debt is projected to rise 48 trillion, which is 116% of GDP. Now, again, it's kind of hard to exist when you're operating at more than you're producing. Okay, there's an old thing, if you're paying more than you're taking in, it's kind of hard to exist. And of course, Biden says that he has reduced the deficit by 1.7 trillion, when in fact, he is under his watch, it has gone up 6.2 trillion. Okay. So again, lies, and more lies. But of course, if he screams loud enough, maybe you won't pay attention to the destruction that he is taking to you and taking to the economy, the United States of America, and the people here. Okay. I mean, if you don't think that there's not an economic earthquake coming, well, I mean, you got Jerome Powell, and the only way that he can potentially cut rates is if it's a political message and he's voting for Joe Biden, okay, or whoever ends up being the Democratic nominee. Because at the end of the day, okay, there is no way, if you believe the numbers. Now, personally, I don't believe the numbers that are coming out. Okay. Now we had a jobs number on Friday, which was another big beat. But what people don't look at, and I'm sure you don't look at it, and one of my people that I'm talking directly to who wants to tell me how good the jobs are, okay, remember this, okay? Out of the last 13 jobs numbers, 11 have been revised lower, and not kind of lower, significantly lower. So you can take the BLS numbers, the bullshit that you read, that you continue to quote to me and tell me, but it is inaccurate because, again, nobody counts for the revisions. Okay? And this is something that, again, you can argue with me all you want, but I'll get to more of this in my commentary. In the meantime, you've got, the Jack Smith talking about the documents that Trump had versus the documents that Biden had. What's the difference? Okay, again, I'm not quite sure where we go here. I watch a continuing attack on President Trump and a continuing free pass to President Biden. Now, I don't know if you're happy with being in the Ukraine war, spending all your money for that, sending money to China, giving up all of your freedom, letting the illegals overflow the border. If you're happy with all that, okay. Hey, again, we're gonna be living in a sewer. You're gonna be a serf or a slave, okay? Because you're not going to have the ability to earn because we continue to give away our good jobs. Look at the ISM manufacturing numbers, down for the 16th consecutive month. Okay, and of course, you want to have people pay more taxes. You want to have people. You want to have be better. Be more fiscally responsible as a government. Okay. Again, we just had another major spending bill passed to avert a shutdown. Shut the fucking government down. They are nothing but a worthless bunch of scumbags anyways, including Mitch McConnell just resigned and a bunch of others who are resigning. Again, this is not what we signed up for. This is not what was written in the Constitution. The federal government was not supposed to be continuing to be the biggest employer in the world, and it continues to grow because, of course, all they're doing is really now buying votes and allowing illegal immigration to steal the jobs of Americans that want to work. But again, let's forget about all that. Let's continue to ignore and deny. Okay, as you continue to say, well, Trump was a bad guy. Listen, whether he was a good or a bad guy, the country ran better. And I can say one thing for sure. The racism and hatred that is in this country today has never been higher in my lifetime, and I grew up through integration. Okay, so again, you can talk your bullshit all you want, but the media is biased. Okay, that is for sure. Okay, again, there's not even a question that they're biased. You see the headlines of all of the outlets, CNBC and CNN. Bragging and talking about that great State of the Union piece of shit, okay, that was nothing more than garbage and nothing more than a campaign speech, okay, it said nothing about the State of the Union. It didn't tell you the troubles that we have, okay, it told you nothing, okay. So I think that, Texas has the right idea as they vote to keep the National Guard out, and they'll take care of their own problems. And of course, this goes into a state that wants to form their own country, and I don't blame them. Okay, but again, it's their borders, especially, and I don't know why they are being prevented from stopping people from coming in. Okay, I mean this is ridiculous. And again, you want to go back to the insurrection? Okay. There's a lot of things about this insurrection that don't make a lot of sense. And there's a lot of people that were there that shouldn't have been there. And again, I'm not condoning what happened, but there's a lot of funny business of stories and things that you see, including Kamala Harris, that were involved in things that they shouldn't have been involved during that period of time, on that day, in that location. So, hey, I think you got to wonder about what was going on. And of course, Biden is claiming that the U.S. economy is the envy of the world. Well, I don't know if it's the envy of the world, but certainly the stealing that the government does from us, the giveaways they give to the illegal immigration, that may be the envy. And maybe that's why they want to come by here more. I mean, the number of Chinese that are coming to this country right now, I got to tell you something. This country is in a lot of trouble. Okay, forget about what the stock market is doing, which we'll talk about in our market report. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of issues. And if we continue to ignore them, guess what? We will be ruled by President Xi Jinping from China. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Top Bubba Horowitz. We'll be right back with our market report after this brief break. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing well. And of course, we have always like to talk about our sponsors at the break. And I do have some brokerage sponsors, and just to be full disclosure, I have other brokers for myself. I have many different ones, but there are two that I recommend, and one is for futures and one is for equities. The one for futures is Capital Trading Group. And again, I urge all of you, whether you go to Capital Trading Group or not, if you're trading futures, have a futures broker. When you're trading equities, have an equities broker. Okay, you need to have two brokers if you're going to trade them both. But in the meantime, Capital Trading Group partners with us in a lot of projects, and of course, take care of our members, does all of our letter of direction trading, best customer service in the industry. Check them out, info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And of course, Trade Your Brokerage, who phenomenal, and let's face it, their commissions are $10 a month flat. I don't know where you're going to beat that at. So check them out. And that, of course, should be try.trader.com/Bubba. Wealth Charts, one of our new partners, is a great platform and a great operation, which also ties into Trader. And of course, our high school program. Check it out and see if you want to help us out as we get back and regrow it and rebuild it so that we can help give some financial literacy and some education to our children. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, our market report. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, March the 10th. And of course, so we're in March Madness. The markets are still in March Madness as well. They were in April. They were in February Madness, January. And of course, they've been madness since last October. And I guess there's no real reason to think that they won't continue to go higher. I mean, Friday sell-off was just a natural sell-off. I mean, we had a couple of sell-offs last week, but I wouldn't say that it's over. I can give you a lot of reasons why it will be over soon, but I can't tell you exactly how soon. Again, this is one of the things, it's one of the many problems in the world of investing and trading, that people think they're smarter than the market, and they think that the news is going to give them the clue. And of course, we all know that that's a bunch of horseshit, and it does not work that way. And of course, I mean, because the economy, nobody could possibly believe that these markets could go higher, let alone the stocks. But of course, then if we look deeper, there are some eerily similarities to the 1987 collapse, when markets made a new high and the advanced declines were 2-to-1 decliners over advancers. So again, like I said, I'm not predicting anything. We're long, as you know, we've talked about it. We talk about it every day. I disclose my full position to you every single day. In the meantime, we are still long the four major indexes. As I tell you, look, I think the markets are in for a beatdown, but I'm not going to be first. I'll be in the long side when it starts. Okay. In the meantime, the dollar, continues to have one of its worst days ever, last week. And of course, we would be short dollars, but again, we don't trade them. And it's not because we don't care about the dollars, it's because it's the cost to trade it at New York. Okay. The euro currency is higher, and of course, we're still long the euro currency. Bitcoin exploded, which we kind of thought would happen, and of course, we're long Bitcoin. In the metals, the gold and silver and platinum all went higher last week. Platinum is still a little bit weaker than the rest, but we are long gold, we are long silver. Excuse me. In the copper had a nice week. We're long copper. In natural gas, we're long natural gas, we're long crude. Crude got up to 80, and this is the second week in a row that it's failing up at those levels. We'll see where it indeed does go from here. It may be, time to sell off. I mean, OPEC did cut production, and that seemed to give it a quick boost, but it didn't seem to be able to hold it. We'll see. But again, I think that the cheaper oil prices tell you how weak the economy actually is. Okay. But again, keep listening to those BS numbers that you get, and you'll be happy. Okay. In the meantime, in the grain markets, they had a WASDE report on Friday. No big deal. Markets did nothing. The easy side of the grains is still to sell them. I mean, they were down for the week again. And at the end of the day, they keep going down, and at some point they'll find a bottom. But we're short across the board. Cattle, I think, is the opposite, and I think cattle will go down. And we don't trade it anymore, but I am personally short cattle, and I'm looking for a spot to buy hogs. In the softs, cocoa continues to make an epic run. We're still long. Cotton, we're still long. Sugar, we're short. Coffee, we're long, and OJ, we're short. In the meantime, again, markets are a little bit out of whack. And listen, I'm not telling you to worry. I'm not telling you to do anything. What I am saying to you is that, again, don't try to predict the future. Okay, the markets will play out. And right now, the overwhelming money supply keeps the markets going higher. The lack of places to go, and so on and so forth. And again, it's a little bit of a mirage when you start to see how the markets are actually being driven higher, but it doesn't really matter. Again, don't fight it, wait for it. And when it's time, there'll be plenty of opportunities for you. In the meantime, we had a jobs number that was, hot, but again, it'll be revised lower as always, and the economic data is supposedly so good. So how is the Fed going to cut rates? And that was what this whole rally has been based on. So we'll see. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, March the 10th. We're going to step out here for our final break and come back with our commentary. What up, kids? I'm not going to go through the whole speech with you. I'm just going to tell you, remember our brokerage partners, and remember that I have other brokers, but it's Capital Trading Group, Tradier, Wealth Charts, and our high school program, scrolling on the sides and on the bottom. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, March the 10th. Welcome back, everybody. It is Sunday, March the 10th. It's Bubba's Bottom Line. And, of course, you do get my commentary every week, like it or not. And, again, I'm sure many of you won't like this either. But I think it's time that we wake up, America, and realize that the Democratic Party that we once knew, and I'm not defending the Republican Party because, I'm a libertarian. But at the end of the day, the people that are running this country today do not have your best interests in their heart. Okay, they are continuing to give you false numbers, phony bullshit, and nobody gives you the information or talks about the revisions. You have BlackRock and Blackstone trying to take over all the commercial the residential real estate, which is not going to be good for you and me, the average person. Okay, you have too many things that are being done behind the scenes that are to hurt Americans, not to help Americans. And it all being done under the watch and under the focus and management of the current administration. Okay, they do not believe in free markets. They do not believe in allowing you, the individual, to go out and to strike your claim and become the next Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, or wherever you want to be. Okay, they have started to prevent more and more of that. And if you think I'm wrong, check it out and try to do something. Okay, but you can certainly see that they're taking away not only your ability to buy a home, okay, not only your ability to do something, but they're allowing the people that they complain about every single day about the rich, they're allowing them to take over this country, okay? So between giving away to China, giving away to Ukraine, and putting all ourselves in a horrible position, not helping Israel, here we are, okay, falling apart, and nobody gives a shit. Now you tell me, okay, just remember that you heard it here, that someday you're going to look back and say, you know what, that Bubba guy was right, that we should have done something sooner, and that I better be worried about things, even if they don't affect me directly today. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will see you back here tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update, and of course, next Sunday with Bubba's Bottom Line. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you later.